Arrest me. Hey, pound it.
All right, man.
Nah, you did a great job, bro. You did a great job. You did what you could.
You and Michael Chandler.
Oh, that's real.
That's right.
Why do I dislike him so much? It comes back to this. Long time ago, I was at a Bellator event. Comes in the back. I just want to come over and shake your hand. I respect you so much, man. Your career has been awesome. You've had so many great fights. You've come back from adversity. So nice to finally meet you.
What's going on, guys? It's Lonely MMA, and today we're going to be doing a tier list / ranking video on every current champion in the UFC right now on how likely they are to win or lose their next title defense. But I do just want to say, though, as we've seen over these past few months, anything can happen in these fights. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the next title defense, a fucking piano will fall from the rafters and land on the challenger, and that's how this person will defend their belt. But listen, I'm pretty goddamn good with these predictions. You would probably damn near think I have a crystal ball in my room with some of these predictions I've been having lately. Prediction on what I think goes on in this fight, I'm taking Ilia Topuria second round KO. Without further ado though, let's get right into it. Looking at the tiers we have, starting off, we have a 100% chance they win. I mean, this is more guaranteed than my right hand finding my lower extremities after a night out at the bar after striking out miserably. And then from there, we got most likely win, 50-50, most likely lose, and then finally, we come to the Colby Covington category. Now, to be in this category, it has to be equivalent to throwing me in a den with a hungry lion who hasn't eaten in a month. And keep in mind, I'm an adorable ball of sunshine. I have no business being in there with a lion. So let's get into it, starting off with Joshua Van, the flyweight champ. His next title defense is more than likely, most likely, I'm going to say 100% likely, that it's going to be against Pantoja. And let's just put in a rule real quick. I'm just going to do the challenger that's the most deserving for the next title shot in my eyes. So staying on track, Joshua Van versus Pantoja. I think Joshua Van most likely wins this one. Honestly, just how good Joshua Van looked against Tatsuro Taira really impressed me. And in my head, I view Tatsuro Taira a lot better than the guys that Pantoja defended his belt against. Now, I know that Royval has a win over Taira, but that was sort of a weird fight, a weird matchup stylistically, and I honestly do think that Tatsuro Taira would have a better chance than all of the guys Pantoja defended his belt against Pantoja. So I really think that the only way that Pantoja wins this fight is if his wrestling is really leagues above Tatsuro Taira's, which I just don't see that to be the case. And I do think Pantoja will get Joshua Van down a few times, but I think that Van will get back to his feet every time, and on the feet, I think Van will absolutely sting Pantoja. So yeah, for all these reasons, I'm going to put Van in the most likely wins tier. So moving on though to bantamweight, we got Peter Yan. Now obviously next for Peter Yan is the Merab trilogy. I really doubt that they go the Sean O'Malley route. I think that if Yan wins against Merab, then they'll do that, but I don't think they'll do it before Merab. So Peter Yan against Merab, I mean, I honestly feel like this one's the biggest 50-50 out of all of them. Because I could just see this fight playing out so many different ways, and Peter Yan I feel like is very inconsistent in some of his performances. Like in the first fight, Yan looked awful. He looked like he had absolutely nothing for Merab, and then in the second fight, he just absolutely destroys him. Like in the first fight, Yan looked completely lost out there. He looked like a kid waiting at the help center of a grocery store with a balloon in his hand, waiting for his mom to come pick him up after he got lost. And then on the other hand, in the second fight, Merab just didn't stick to what I guess was the game plan. He did not shoot as much takedowns as he normally does. So in this third fight, I have no clue what's going to happen. So yeah, I really do think that this one is a true 50-50. Moving on to Alexander Volkanovski in the featherweight division, I'm almost saying that Movsar is going to be next. I'm praying to God that Gene Silva is. But Alexander versus Movsar is a very interesting matchup, and I'm going to go with Alexander Volkanovski most likely loses. Because I honestly just hate the matchup for Volk, because to beat someone like Movsar, you're going to have to really work hard and dig deep, and I feel like Volk is just getting old, and I don't think he has it to keep up with someone like Movsar. And like, it's not even just the fact that Movsar is going to shoot over and over and over again. I think in the clinch, someone like Movsar will be able to get the body lock, pick up Volk, and take him down that way over again. I feel like there's going to be a big strength discrepancy in this fight. So yeah, I mean, I really just overall don't think Volk wins this one, to be honest. And Volk's one of my favorite fighters, so it pains me to say that. So it's going in the most likely loses category. Moving on though, the lightweight. And next up for Justin Gaethje, I think will be Arman Tsarukyan, and my god, this is a coughing the baby versus hydrogen bomb type of matchup, because I really don't think Justin Gaethje has any chance against a guy like Arman Tsarukyan. I think Arman beats him on the feet, he beats him on the ground, and I think he'll just have his way with him. And the difference between Arman and Ilya against Gaethje is the fact that I think Arman will be able to hold Gaethje down on the ground a lot better than Ilya did, because Ilya's a shorter and weaker dude compared to someone like Arman, because Arman's one of the bigger and stronger 155ers. pace, and I really struggle to think of a pathway to victory for Gaethje in this fight, so for that reason, Justin Gaethje's going to have to go in the Colby Covington category. On to welterweight we go, though. Islam, his next fight is already announced. It's going to be Ian Gary in August, and I think he 100% wins this one. Like, Ian Gary is very light-footed, and he can get those underhooks in pretty quickly, and he did pretty well against Shavkat, but I think with Islam, it's a whole different ballgame. I think if Islam gets the body lock, he easily takes Ian Gary down every time. In the clinch, in everything, there's just going to be a big strength difference. And I honestly see this one playing out pretty similar to the JDM fight, where Islam's just laying and praying for the entire thing in a wicked boring fight. Because I really think that Ian Gary's good enough to not get subbed, but I also feel like he's just not going to be strong enough to get back to his feet if he gets taken down. And like, if you go back and rewatch the Shavkat fight, Shavkat was absolutely stinging Ian Gary with right hands over the top and everything like that. The only thing that Ian Gary had in return were leg kicks. So yeah, for this one, I'm going Islam 100% chance to win. I don't think he's losing to Ian Gary. And for this next one at middleweight, this is honestly one of the only ones where it's like, I mean, I could honestly see two people having the same chance of fighting for the belt next. Like, I can see the Khamzat side and then I can see the Imavov side, but I think I just barely give it to Imavov just because Khamzat never defended the belt, so I don't know why they would give him an immediate rematch, especially when Nasruddin Imavov is a very deserving contender. So in the matchup of Imavov versus Strickland, I know they fought before, but that one was on like a week's notice and was up a weight class. It took place at light heavyweight instead of middleweight, which is pretty weird, and I honestly think that it hurt Imavov more than it hurt Strickland, because Imavov just didn't look as fast in that fight. But overall, I think Strickland is just a way more complete fighter than Imavov. I just feel like this is one of those fights where Strickland's just going to dog walk him the entire time. And yeah, Imavov does have power, but I really just don't see him finding Strickland's chin. So for those reasons, I think that Strickland most likely beats Nasruddin Imavov. And for Carlos Ulberg, I think that Ankalaev is going to be next for him. I think in July, Ankalaev goes out there, beats Khalil Roundtree, and then Carlos Ulberg comes back and fights him. I could see them doing like an interim title fight between Paulo Costa and Ankalaev. And even if they did do that in the meantime while Carlos Ulberg heals, I think that Ankalaev wins that too. So with Carlos Ulberg versus Ankalaev, I think that Ankalaev is levels above every other fighter that Carlos Ulberg has fought. And like, yeah, I know that Yuri is up there in terms of good light heavyweights, but whenever Yuri fights a striker, it's always a bad matchup for him just because how he keeps his hands so goddamn low. And like Ankalaev, I just think has it everywhere over a guy like Carlos Ulberg. So yeah, with Carlos Ulberg, I think that he most likely loses in his next fight. And moving on to lastly, heavyweight, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane is the next fight that's going to happen there. And I think this one is pretty close. Just given how good Cyril Gane's looked in his last few fights in that one round against Aspinall and then in the fight against Pereira, he's going to have a lot of momentum coming into this one, and Cyril Gane's always a guy who I felt like whenever he had fought bad, it was mostly just due to him, like, just sort of being a pussy. And his confidence has to be through the roof right now, so I honestly think that he'll give Aspinall a run for his money. And the thing is, though, I don't think anybody's going to be able to just run through Tom Aspinall easily. Like, I feel like people have forgotten about just how good Tom Aspinall was up until that Cyril Gane fight. Like, for fuck's sakes, the dude made John Jones retire because he didn't want to fight him. So overall, when this one happens, I think it's a true 50-50 and could go either way. So yeah, that's my ranking on how I think every single current UFC champion will do in their next title defense. As always, let me know in the comments where you would have put some of these champions, and I will see you guys in the next one. See you.